Alright, in this tutorial video I'm going to be demonstrating problem 3-7, which is on page 3-53 of your text. So as we take a look at this, we can see the dimensions given in the front view, which gives us our overall width, and two other dimensions there on the horizontal plane. And of course we're given a 30-inch dimension up, so we've got this corner cut out, and we have what is really referred to as an oblique angle kind of cutting across the path. Now on the top view, so we kind of see those object lines where that oblique angle gets cut out, and then the rest of our dimensions are coming from the side view. So I'm going to start this particular sketch on the right side view, so in our profile, and we're going to go ahead and use for this, I'm just going to go ahead and use my line tool, and then I'm going to go back and add some dimension constraints to it there as well. Now taking a look at this, it tells us that the dimensions system that we're using is actually in millimeters. So I'm in inches right now, so I'm coming right up here to document settings and going over here to change this from inches to millimeters. So, and we'll hit OK. Now I can go into my line tool. Now at this point I don't really care about the actual dimensions. I'm just drawing the shape that I see in this particular profile. Oh, I accidentally hit the escape, not a big deal. So let's come back now. And I finish up the shape. Notice I've got a closed shape. All right, escape to get out of the line tool. So now, a couple of things that I notice. This line and this line share the same dimension, and so do these. Now as you go through, if you are paying attention to those constraints, we can have a collinear constraint already put on here, but right now I notice that I'm definitely not collinear with these. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to create a collinear constraint between here, that line, and that line. So we're going to put those together. That way if I dimension the one, both of them are going to move the same way. And we can see here dimensionally that this then is going to be 10 millimeters. So notice how as soon as I do that, that dimensions both of them. And I have this dimension right here, which is 30. So actually I put that one right on spot. That was just lucky on my part. And now I've got this dimension here that is 50. I actually did that pretty well too. All right, now notice, as soon as I did that, if these are the same, and they are, that doesn't move. But let's kind of do something here with this just to show you this idea of collinear constraints. So I'm changing this one right now to 60 millimeters. Let me delete that dimensional constraint off so it's no longer locked in by the constraint. And now let me put a dimensional constraint here as far as that collinear constraint with that as well. So you can kind of see how this what we call a geometric constraint here keeps them together. All right. Now I got to go back to my other dimensions, and we're saying, all right, from here to here is 10 millimeters. So go ahead and so hit enter. So I've got from here to here is 20 millimeters. So we'll set that one. From here to here is 30. So let's kind of zoom down so I have some more. From here to here is 40. Notice now, then lastly, I also want to put the overall here at 65. Now notice that I'm going to go ahead and place this for right now. So we'll go ahead and hit enter on this one. But notice how I'm clicking from this line to that line to give me the overall length. I don't have to do it that way. So let me delete this out. So I could also dimension from here to here. So I could actually just select the line to give it that line length and then type into 50 to bring that in here. Now, if at any time, if I'm adding some dimensional constraints, let's say I do the from here, from that line to that line now, and I click it. Notice it's going to give us this overall over-constrained sketch because it knows you've already got a dimension between those two. You've already established that relationship, so it doesn't want you to do it again. Now, it says create a driven dimension instead. So let's go ahead and create the driven dimension. Notice here this dimension, how now that comes in with these surrounded by the parentheses here, so we know now that that's actually driven. Sometimes as we get into other views, so you might want to have that in place. So I'm going to select this. I'm going to delete this dimension. We're going to keep this dimensioned exactly like it is in the textbook. So notice that maintains that. So as far as that dimension. So let's just go ahead and delete this out again. And now let's go from here to here, place that dimension at 50, and we still have some garbled. As we were doing this, we weren't paying too much attention to this. That's okay, not a big deal. Let me escape out of this, but it is a good habit to get into of kind of creating your nested, what we refer to as a nested dimensions here. So, and notice how now I've kind of realigned all of these, kind of kept some spacing, so it makes it much easier for us to read. So here, also notice on our extension lines, so the extension lines from here, so they've got that little gap that's supposed to be there. Notice, I'm going to change this just so you can kind of see some other things that we need to be aware of when we're dimensioning. Notice on this dimension how I've got that gap down there. So if I come in, I'm going to delete this back out again. So if I come in and say I dimension from this line and I draw it up to there, I can do the same thing. It still gives me that. But now look at what's happening with my extension lines. My extension lines look like they're connected. Well, why are they connected? Well, because it's really going down to this line. So the extension line is, there is a little gap. We can't see it because we've got our object line here, but there is a little gap in that extension line here. So when we start to kind of do some of this drawings, remember the standard requires a gap between the extension line and the border line. So the better way to do this here, let's delete that out, is to go ahead and select from this line over to that line and place that. That way we get that extension line in there all the time. All right, let's go ahead and finish this sketch. It's done. I'm going to go to my isometric view. We're going to extrude this, and I'm going to extrude this back. And this is, of course, 100 millimeters. So I've got that extrusion. Now we need to kind of create that oblique angle, which really comes from here to there. So, and we can know that there's this corner triangular cutout. So let's start by creating the sketch here. So I'm going to go ahead and again use my line drawing tool. I'm not concerned at all with dimensions at this point. We're kind of locking in. Okay, now I can add my dimensional constraints. From here to here is 30 millimeters. And of course, dimensioning from here to there is the 75 millimeters. So that sets my triangle. So let's finish that sketch. We're going to go ahead and extrude. We're going to go the opposite way here, and our extent is going to say extrude all, and we're cutting this out, so I'm removing that. All right, so now this oblique angle that kind of comes in here, we can see it intersects here at this point, intersects down at this point, and the other intersection point is right here. We don't really have a point there, so I'm going to have to create a point at that position too. So let's go ahead. I'm going to create a sketch here on this plane, And in this case, I'm going to create a point. So here's the point. So I can come right up to the midpoint of this line originally, but so since I cut that out, next time, I might have said, all right, let's do a midpoint there because we know it's 50 millimeters. This point, it doesn't really matter because we can dimensionally constrain this as well. So from here to there is 50 millimeters. So that's all I need for this sketch. I just need that point. So let's finish this out. All right, now I'm ready to kind of create a plane. So, and this is the way that I would solve this. I'm going to basically construct a separate plane off of those 3 points. So let's go up here to our construct here. So hit the drop down arrow. Notice we can say we're going to construct a plane through 3 points. So I'm going to left click there, and now it wants the point. So well, we're going to say this point, and this point down here. Notice I've got my plane. So let's click OK. So now I can sketch on that plane. So I'm going to say create a sketch on this plane. All we're doing is cutting this away, so it doesn't really matter. I can just kind of go and create any type of shape here, just so long as I get everything off of the part. So, and now I can extrude this shape up, and we're going to make sure that when we do this, so kind of move around here, we want to come up this way. So, and this is going to be a cut as well. So I'll go ahead and click OK. And now I've got that looking the way I want. Let's go ahead and take a look here. So here's my front view. Looks good. My top view looks good. And my side or profile view, that looks good as well. So I am finished. I've gotten this taken care of using a different plane and kind of creating a separate construction plane there for me to do and use. So now I can go up and save this. So this is going to be P3-7. Make sure that you're saving it as with your first and initial and your full last name. Make sure that the location here, this is a chapter 3 problem, so make sure that you're saving it in the correct folder. So, and we have now finished and solved problem 3-7.